Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. The day after the Derby della Mole, the post-Torino 0, Juventus 1, I will give you immediately my answer to the big question. To some people that maybe are celebrating a bit too much. Is Juventus back? Is Juventus saved? Did Juventus rise again from the hell that we were going through? My answer, and the only correct answer, is absolutely no. No. But that doesn't mean that Juventus yesterday, we can't praise some aspect of what we saw in a boring Derby della Mole. It was not an entertaining game. It was not calcio champagne. The Ritiro didn't help a lot in terms of performance, but it helped in other aspects. We will speak about my opinion. Of course, we will start with my opinion, with the emotions, with what I believe was really important. Then we will continue, of course, to the performance. What about the performance? What did we see beautiful or not? I will even give you an answer about McKennie's performance that yesterday for me was the flop of the game. After watching again the game, after analyzing a bit the game, I understood that he was not the worst. It's someone else that was the worst, and then also to some big decision that has been taken. Yes, we are speaking about Leonardo Bonucci. Then we have some good news and bad news. So a long video, maybe, I don't know how long I will take to speak in that video. That's why I'm asking you guys. Maximum of like, maximum of support, subscribing to the channel if you trust the channel, if you want that community to be bigger. I'm counting a lot of you. We start immediately with my feelings about Juventus. I already told you, no, Juventus is not back. When can we say that Juventus is back? Only if Juventus will be able to convince in terms of on the field, but also to have some streak of wins. I don't know how much, I don't know what number we can put on it. Will it be 2 games in a row, 3 games, 4 games, 5 games? Will we need 10 games to convince? I remember last season where Juventus between January and February, or was it December and February, where Juventus did 11 games in a row without defeats in Serie A, where we were not totally convinced. Yes, the results started to be there, but we were not totally convinced. So I don't know what the number will be. They will have to continue to convince us with results, but also on the field. Yesterday the result was there, and that was beautiful. The performance, not totally, even if we won, and in a derby, in the moment that we were on yesterday, only the result was needed to start putting a seed, a small little seed in the ground. But then that seed, you have to pay attention to the weather, you have to give water if you want that seed to become a beautiful plant, a beautiful tree maybe, that is there and that is quite solid. At the moment we put a seed, the first seed in the ground. Yesterday what I wanted to know, it was, I want an answer. Not only me, but all the Juventini, we wanted answers. Yes, 3 answers. The first one was the Ritiro. A lot of people said, bah, vintage, old decision, it's absolutely not something that you do in 2022. All the players should boycott. I saw a lot of things, a lot of answers in the YouTube comment section. They should boycott, they should be against it, they should not even go to it. Was the Ritiro important, yes or no? And what did it solve in 2 days? Because we know that in 2 days you are not changing all the summer preparation in terms of physicality, with some players with their hand on their knee at the 77th minute. We saw these images that are viral on the ground. That was the first one that I wanted to know. The second one was the performance. Did we solve something in 2 days of the Ritiro with double sessions of trainings? No, even if it was better than Maccabi Haifa, but doing worse than Maccabi Haifa was really difficult. And the third one was, what is that strong decision? What is the strong decision that Allegri will take in terms of the men that are there? What is the sign that he's sending to all of them? What is the leadership doing with today? So we start immediately with the Ritiro. Yes or no, was it useful? Well, I tell you one thing, there was one thing that I saw immediately before the game. I saw it at halftime, and I saw it especially after the game. It was that circle of the players hugging each other before the game to motivate themselves, with one player that was speaking. We are speaking about Danilo that was taking leadership in that circle of players before the game, something that I didn't see. I saw it in Maccabi Haifa, but not with the black and white players. No, I saw it with Maccabi Haifa players speaking to each other, motivating each other, saying we are a team, a word that we were missing at Juventus because we were absolutely not a team. Yesterday they did it. Yes, we go back to the 12, 13 years old players that we see in these summer tournaments that are speaking and motivating each other like it. Andiamo ragazzi, putting the sleeves up. We had to go back to the basics. We had to go back to be humble again and doing this in front of il Stadio Olimpico di Torino. We did it, and that was already something that we solved in the Ritiro. In 2 days, a lot of players, they took the opportunity to talk to each other, to watch themselves eye on eye, face to face, to say we are not doing well. We are individualities and we are not teams. We have to go back to help each other, to sacrifice for each other. If I have the ball, you have to come to ask the ball. You have to be involved like we saw Kostic doing at a certain moment. I'm here, I'm involved, give me the ball. But also, when I need to man mark, when I need to support, when I am defending, I need also your support to sacrifice and to help the team. Team, big words, and this is the biggest answer that I received yesterday. Also in terms of leadership, clearly Danilo took the leadership, but also the number 9 of Juventus. We are speaking about Dusan Vlahovic. Dusan, that at a certain moment when Keane missed that horrible shot, that attempt after a pass of Kostic, we all know it, we all have it in mind. Kostic was pissed off, but Vlahovic took that moment to go to Keane and to hug him, to say, let's go, forget about it, we continue, because it's still 0-0. That was beautiful. This is a sign of a team that we wanted to be back on the field, the answer that we wanted, team. Not only that, we saw also the post-game answers with some players that were saying, like Danilo, like Vlahovic, we are with the team, we are with the coach. I know Allegri is a big topic, and when he's doing bad, we are here to criticize him. If tomorrow the decision of the management will be to sack Allegri, we will take consideration of it. We will say everything that Allegri did bad because he did a lot, but today we don't have to divide. Today we have to unite. I don't know if the words are really 100% sincere, but at least this is what I wanted to hear, because we read everything. Do you remember the words of Tuttosport yesterday morning where they were saying we are with the coach, while Gazzetta was saying the big cold, everyone is divided, they don't even want to go into Ritiro. This is what I wanted to hear. After that 2 days Ritiro, yes, I can say that it helped in terms of team. We have no time until the World Cup, until the 13th of November, to solve our physical issues. We have no time probably to give a big change of football, but at least we tried. At least we try, and the only thing that can overcome that moment is being a team. This is what we really have to do. Guys, the video is long today, but I told you what I was thinking. What about the performance? Well, the performance was not beautiful. No, it was not. But at least we tried. At least we tried, and this is a big difference versus the game of Milan, versus the game of Benfica, versus the big game of Sampdoria, Fiorentina, and also Maccabi Haifa. Juventus tried. We will go back in the end of the video to all the things that we tried yesterday. The team is too wide. We are playing too wide. And this is difficult for a team that is missing a lot in terms of pass accuracy. Pass accuracy, one of the biggest problems of this Juventus. We are not able to do passes. If you want to succeed passes, you have to be close to each other, giving that support, saying, I am here, give me the pass at 2 or 3 meters. Instead, Juventus is quite far with balls for Vlahovic or from Bremer to Kostic. Kostic is super wide, so we know that we are taking there. Of course, it was also a strategy to hurt Torino, but we were trying to play wide. Not always the best. If you have to do these long balls of 25 meters, it's much harder than when you have to do a 3-4 meter pass. But the team was compact, unfortunately, in the front, with a lot of players, especially at halftime, like Vlahovic, like Weston McKennie, Moiskin, and Rabiot, that were there, all sticking together and not offering a lot of options, not unmarking themselves. So it's really a paradox with a team that is super wide for basic passes, and then they are really compact where you actually have to split yourself and not giving points of reference to Torino. That's what we saw yesterday. Then Quadrado, I told you the worst, and I will explain you why. And then the strong decisions. Yes, yesterday a strong decision was taken by Massimiliano Allegri to put Bonucci out of the field, not in the starting team, but on the bench. Really strange for the Capitano that is not playing all the games this season, so it's not even a matter of being tired. It was assigned to the team. Bonucci was on the bench. Now, we don't know if we will continue with that solution because Bremer was injured yesterday, unfortunately, but that was a big sign that the leadership has switched from Bonucci to other people, to Danilo yesterday. Hey, yes. So let's go to the front pages. We will probably repeat a lot of things that I said, but showing you with the media, but also with some stats what has changed. So first of all, Gazzetta dello Sport, who is giving a title that is totally wrong. Vlahovic il salva Juve. Vlahovic, the one that is saving Juve. No, I don't agree. We saved nothing yesterday. We saved absolutely nothing. Don't give false hope to the Juventini. We saved nothing. We just won the first game that should be the start of a long journey. Corriere dello Sport is even going worse. They are going to the personal, to the individual. Vlahovic, Dusan, salva Max, the savior of Max. No, we didn't save Max. First of all, because even losing the derby, Max would have stayed there. He would not have been sacked. Has been reconfirmed by Agnelli. Right decision, wrong decision, I don't know. We don't care. At that moment of the season, we don't care. But he saved nothing. The win will not change the destiny of Allegri. That, according to me, has already been written. What is the paper that is representing me the most? It's again Tuttosport. We sing Juve l'orgoglio, Toro il nulla. Juventus, the pride. Torino, the nothing. Torino was absolutely not dangerous yesterday. The pride. The pride of Juventus, what we were all speaking of, the words of Agnelli, ashamed. We are ashamed of what we saw versus Maccabi Haifa. Not about the result, partially about the result, but especially about how we acted, the behavior of giving up after 2 minutes of the game in Champions League. L'urlo di DV9, the scream, the yell of Dusan Vlahovic with the number 9. It's his first goal in the derby. He already scored versus Torino, but this time the first real goal in the derby representing Juventus. And then he went out after the game, because we know it yesterday, 5 Serbian players were there, 3 from Torino, and then we had 2 players of Juventus, Kostic and Vlahovic. There was also the coach of the national team of Serbia. After the game, they went out to have some dinner together. Milinkovic-Savic, not Sergei, but the brother, the goalkeeper, was for me, for Torino, man of the match with all the save that he did, especially on Dusan Vlahovic. Luckily, Dusan Vlahovic won and found the way to score that winning goal, the winning goal in the derby. Allegri is briefing. Yes, he is briefing because he's saying we did just a small step, but this is my team. Ritiro is over now. We only needed 2 days. We'll have to train 6 days before the game of Empoli. That will give us more answers. We don't give up. Words of Vlahovic. We don't give up. Non molliamo nulla. Nothing. We continue. We have to go. We have to win. And he repeated also here, we are with Allegri. Zampata Vlahovic, the goal of Vlahovic, Juventus is coming back. They are coming back. They are putting themselves on their feet again. A bit too early, of course, to say that. And then Danilo that is saying, let's go. Dai. Aiutiamoci e crediamoci. These are the words that he said in that circle. Aiutiamoci, help each other. What I said in the beginning of the video, but also crediamoci, believe in it. You remember the words that we said all week long? If they are not able to believe, how is it possible for Juventini to believe? They have to start to believe. These were the words that Danilo said in that circle. Grande Danilo. Bonucci, switch from Bonucci to Danilo. Danilo, the real leader of that Juventus. The bad news of today, of course, it's Bremer. Bremer that had to go out at the 51st minute of the game. Hopefully not a really serious injury, but we are speaking already about 2, 3, 4 weeks of injury, of a muscular injury for Bremer. It is a disaster. The good news, Chiesa will be back, probably already on the bench versus Empoli. I was thinking maybe after the game of Benfica. Apparently he will be there before the game of Benfica. We are happy for Federico Chiesa. And another good news is that Paul Pogba finally can start his season, because on Monday, so tomorrow, he will be there with the team training, guys. Yesterday I told you 3-5-2, strange decision also to play with the 3 Brazilian defenders, a 3-5-2 that I showed you, really wide on the wings, really compact up front, not giving a lot of solutions. In the second half it didn't change. We continue with the same thing, even if Bremer went out and Bonucci went in. Why Why was McKennie not the worst of the game, guys? Why was he not the worst of the game? Because analyzing the game, thank you to Antonio Corsa on Twitter, guys, in Italian, but you can translate it. Always a lot of great insight, especially tactically. We see that Juventus, when defended, they went with a 4-4-2, really organized and structured 4-4-2. You can clearly see it here on the image with an option of McKennie, and this is where the game of McKennie had a sense. A lot of people said he's useless. Well, I was thinking the same. Analyzing closely, no, he had a sense. He had something that had to be used. When we were in 4-4-2, when Torino had the ball, he was the first one to give some pressure on Torino. Why? Because doing that, Cuadrado, as you see on the image, was able to go up with a lot more space. This is how he went, for example, on that triple shot on the 33rd minute. The problem is that Cuadrado was not always able to understand it. We can see it clearly here with the images. At the 42 minutes with McKennie that is giving a lot of pressure that you see here in the circle. Unfortunately, Cuadrado was too late to help. Also there, a bit later, 48 minutes with Cuadrado that is too low, not able to understand the pressure of McKennie. 78 minutes or 79 minutes, again, McKennie pressing, giving support, but there is nobody. Cuadrado is not there. Of course, he did sometimes also good things, Cuadrado, but for me, he was the worst of the game. The worst of the game, individuality, Cuadrado. The big flop of the game in terms of stats are, again, the fact that 80%, not even 80% of pass accuracy, and in final third is even worse, not even reaching 69%, with a lot of players missing in final third the passes. We are speaking about Juan Cuadrado, 58%, Locatelli, 67%, 60% for Alexandro. They were all a disaster in final third, and this is something that we really have to work on. Guys, this was it for me for the video. A long video. We spoke about a lot of things, emotions, the papers. Tactically, I didn't go through all the stats as we are doing usually, but I wanted to help maybe a McKennie that showed that he had a sense. Why is he there? But also understand that in Juventus, they tried. At least they tried to offer a solution with the group, but also tactically that was not always working. We will need some time. Guys, the small little seed, we put it on the ground. Now it's up to us to protect that little seed, to give a bit of water to that little seed, to cover, to give a bit of kisses, a bit of love, a bit of belief that that little seed can become an amazing, beautiful, solid tree. This was it for me. Put a maximum like, subscribe to the channel. Grazie, forza, Juve.